So I had to make it in. I had to go through here. Let's move it all the way up. Okay, let's go. This is where we were at before. It's a short video, but I'm kind of walking you through it. So look, plaintiff alleges his blank termination from TCS relates to older U.S. citizen employees of Indian and South African. So basically what he's saying here, let me see if you could, no, you can't do it that way. What he's saying here is he alleges his termination relates to a concerted effort by TCS to replace older U.S. citizen employees with replace U.S. citizen employees with employees of Indian or South. So let me tell you what they were doing. I'm going to crack the beans on this because they were doing this back the first time when I was at Cargill through TCS. And I'm not saying everybody at TCS, especially everybody of Indian descent, is responsible. I'm talking about the head honchos, the folks in, you know what I'm saying? What they were doing, my mic's on. What they were doing was they were telling Cargill employees, you could become a TCS employee with your same job, lose all your benefits, or take a severance payout. And what they were doing is they were hiring folks of Indian, South Asian descent, they say. So basically Indians. South Asian, Indians. They were hiring Indians to replace black and white Americans. In this case, particularly a white guy. I'm just reading the news. I'm reading their words. What I saw when I was there was exactly that. So remember that I told you about that story where I came in as the business analyst, where I was basically I was interviewing people and what they call a knowledge transfer, gathering information and saying, this is how you do your job. And they were telling me the format and the process and how they were doing their job so they could get replaced with some Indians. So either you sign on as a TCS employee, no longer a Cargill employee, so you're losing all the benefits of Cargill because Cargill wants to save some money. And they say, well, you become a TCS employee, which is almost like a government contractor. You become a TCS employee, so you follow under their rules. And you might take, for the knowledge transfer, all these people, all these white folk that got 15, 20 years of knowledge, and a couple blacks here and there. You got 15, 20 years of knowledge that you didn't put into Cargill. My grandma retired from Cargill. You did not have this large immigrant class and wave back then coming in, replacing all these jobs back when she retired in in the early 90s. It wasn't to this degree. But then again, IT and technology was not as robust. So what happened was I was interviewing these folks as the business analyst, which I should have kept that job, saying, I need knowledge in all your domain. Let me do a knowledge transfer. Let me compile all this information and your process, how you do your job, and document it so you could pass it on to TCS so they can lay you off. You come over here as a TCS employee, or you take an early retirement and they give you a big ass severance package and then just lay you off. That's what they were doing in 2014. Literally. And then what they started to do was they started to get rid of the white folk in order for the Indians to come in. That's what this lawsuit is about. I saw it firsthand. Let's continue. This is going to be a two-part series, of course. Plaintiff is the project manager, American regional manager for project management in September 2023. Now, again, this is the DeVorn versus TCS. This is the document. This is the paperwork. And people say, well, no, that didn't happen. He's just capping. I was there in 2014 and they were doing it. I was there. I was there 3 times. I know what they were doing. Tata fired white U.S. workers in favor of visa holders. And you know if they're going to fire some white folks, They coming from some Negroes for sure. Whatever few Negroes that were there, they was doing this to the white folk. I'm just reading the news.